Hey, I'm Todd Cohen. I just got off a phone call and somebody was telling me about how they've just been through this, super expensive consulting project and how this consultant is teaching them all these new processes to scale their company and how they're going to scale through this and that. And I just listened and I thought, well, this is really interesting, except this really expensive consultant, by the way, who's never actually, as it turns out, worked in a company other than the company that he's in now, said something, or I should say, missed something that is the way we scale companies. We scale companies through mindset, through a mindset that says everything we do helps a customer say yes. That's a sales mindset. That's the way we scale companies. And there are four things I want to point out about why this is undeniably true. Number one, I'm going to look way a little bit because I got so nuts over this call listening to all this technical mumbo jumbo. I started making notes. I'm going to look at them while I do this, right? Number one, how mindset is the secret to scaling a company. Number one, it has to be mindset over mechanics. So, more process doesn't scale a company. In fact, if anybody's ever worked in big companies or any company where you feel like, my God, we've got so many processes that they are choking our ability to get to the customer, now you know why more process, which consultants are really good at doing, now you know why more process actually doesn't scale a company, it chokes a company. Even the most limited process, if it's not about how is this process, how is this whatever going to help that customer say yes? How is it going to help us collaborate without silos so the customer says yes? Then that process is worthless. And you wind up not scaling your company, you wind up choking your company. The second way that mindset is the key to scaling a company is mindset is a growth multiplier. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. We can't hire enough people, right? I mean, everybody can only hire so many people. There's only so much tech that you can put in to scale. And the key is no matter how many people you hire, no matter how much technology you employ, no matter how much whatever you do, if people are thinking small, then you don't scale. And why do we think small? Because people keep themselves in silos. And you've heard me say it. And if you haven't heard me say it, check out any of my 8 gazillion minutes of video on my sales culture channel where I say all the time, silos kill companies. And by the way, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notify button because if I don't say it, my video editor won't put that in. So I got to say it so it'll get put in. So come on, hit subscribe, hit notify. You know, it could be worse. So mindset is the multiplier for scaling companies. I want you to think about that. Mindset is the multiplier because not only is mindset a choice, without mindset, growth stalls. People scatter back into their silos. They go, I'm just the not my job, sales ick. And then you know what? Nothing gets done. The third way we scale a company with mindset, and we look at my notes here, is probably my favorite reason because it's something I talk about. It's called the culture effect. So a company can only scale as long as the collective mindset will allow it. Talk is cheap, but action brings customers in, literally. And the way we bring customers in, the way we get customers to say yes is a collective mindset that says, you know what? Sales is my job, even though it's not in my title. When someone says or whispers, you know what, that's not my job, or sales isn't my thing, or you know what, I never see customers, so what I do doesn't matter, that's a limiting mindset. And now you're choking the culture of the organization. You're creating a siloed culture, not a sales culture. And that is as evident as the nose on your face that will cripple the culture and it will stop scaling dead in its tracks. The fourth way that scaling, I get so excited, right? This fourth way that scaling happens because of mindset, not just more process, right? The fourth way that scaling is a growth multiplier. The fourth way that scaling happens because the impact it has, the mindset has on our culture is scale isn't about a spreadsheet. Let's be very clear about that. Scaling isn't because you bought more software or you opened another office. I mean, yes, that has a limited impact on scaling. You scale when every single person goes into a growth mindset and they go into growth mode. They're thinking about, wait a minute, how is what I do going to help a customer say yes? How is this very next thing that we as a team are doing? Notice I said team because that implies collaboration. That implies that that team has a unified mindset that says what we're doing will scale the company if it helps a customer say yes. And if you think about that broadly, that applies to every functional department in an organization. And I don't care if you're a company of one like me or you're a company of a million. Everything you do must look through the lens, must be with the mindset, a sales mindset that says, what I'm doing right now, if it helps a customer say yes, proceed. If it doesn't, it's noise. And you've heard me literally say those words. The way we scale a company is by mindset. All the processes, all the software, all the consulting, all of the surveys, it doesn't matter if people have a mindset that says, I'm not in sales. You know what? That's not my job. They give it lip service, but then they scurry back to their silo and go, man, I'm glad I don't have to actually like do that stuff. Mindset, growth mindset, sales mindset, that is the key to scaling a company. It's why I wrote my book, From Status Quo to Status Grow, because the greatest differentiator a company will ever experience is the mindset of every single person, because that's what a customer feels. And because everybody talks about NPS scores and customer experience and delighting our customers, I always roll my eyes when I say that because I've heard that expression for years and like, okay, I'm going to delight my customers. And I don't think anybody, like goes to work and says, hey, I'm going to delight my customers today. And if you do, bravo. I mean, that's great. You're in the right place. I think about helping my customers make money from my services. That's what we should be thinking about. And that will delight your customers. So, when you're thinking about how am I going to scale my business? How am I going to scale my company? How am I going to get to the next level? Before you go out and hire that expensive consultant, let's take a look internally at our people, at your people, and let's look at their mindset. How do they see their value, their contribution to the customer saying yes? That is where the work begins. I'm Todd Cohen. Once again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notify button. I put these videos out a lot. Hope you're getting some value from them. Yeah, I know you are because you have a growth mindset. Take care.